That feeling of freedom, of gliding over the surface of the water, when I felt that balance, when I felt that speed, when I felt how smooth it was, I knew I was going to be doing this for a while.
Kitefoiling makes its debut at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. And in 17-year-old Max Maeder, Singapore has a genuine medal contender. In 2023, the teenager had a stellar year. He won a Sailing World Cup Series title, followed by his third straight victory in the Formula Kite Youth World Championships. He became the youngest winner of a World Championship in any Olympic sailing class at the Sailing World Championships. He took gold at the Asian Games and wrapped up the year by winning the Youth Sailing World Championships. The first half of 2024 saw more wins, including a second consecutive World Championship title. But what is kitefoiling?
Kitefoiling is a sport where you have a sail or a kite, which is flying in the air, which you control. You stand on top of a board that is attached to a hydrofoil, which is like an underwater airplane. When you go fast enough, you can glide up out of the water surface and stand on top of this underwater airplane while being pulled by the kite, which is all powered by the wind. Imagine you're driving a car and you had no steering wheel. You could only go straight or backwards. After years of driving it without being able to turn, you unlock the ability to turn the car. And that feeling of sudden freedom and of being able to open up and go anywhere you want to and have a completely new dimension of travel is similar to how it feels like to glide across the water. It's so unique.
Kitefoiling comes with its own set of perils. The combination of speed and taut lines means that crashing is not just about falling in the water. Competitors are in constant danger of colliding into each other, something Max experienced in the 2023 World Championships.
A little bit of an adjustment for the upwind and he is round. Following right behind and touching down, both riders down.
Me and my competitor were lined up. We had just finished turning around one of the buoys. He had then made a mistake and crashed into the water. I now have to make a split-second decision of judging whether or not I could turn above, below, or simply I had to stop. The only way to stop within the short distance that was between us was I had to immediately crash because otherwise I would run into him. We weren't at the highest of speeds, so it didn't really hurt too much. During racing, I've only had more mild crashes. However, during training, when I'm trying to push the limits of my skill, I've had multiple times where I've crashed and it had taken me 1 or 2 minutes to go out and ride at full speed again.
To excel at kitefoiling, you need a particular physique.
A good kitefoiler is relatively strong in the legs. They have a very strong physique and also they are quite heavy. If you have more weight, you can push into the board more. And what that means is that you go faster if you're heavier.
Foiling is the basis of our sport. When you're touching the water surface with your board, there is a lot of drag going on. However, if you come up out of the water, the only thing that's touching the water is the foil, and that's made to be very, very sleek and efficient. There is very little drag. I drag along the surface until I can come up out of the water on that foil. Immediately, I can speed up and become more efficient. Our courses are set in a way where we have to travel directly up and down in an ideal world. However, we cannot do that, so we snake our way left and right across. And a jibe or a tack essentially is this direction change from left to right or right to left. A jibe is when I'm doing a transition or change of direction with the wind. I change the position of my feet. So from whichever foot was forward first, it goes back, and whichever foot was back goes to the front. And then I turn to the other side afterwards. How I do that is the kite from above then comes down and loops around, and I go together with it to change my direction. When you do the jibe, if you aren't committed to completing it, the foil will come out of the water or crash into it because it cannot spend a long time with a hesitant input. With a tack, I move the kite up because generally my foil is going to be generating less lift. I move the kite up and I turn into the wind. The key difference here between foiling tack and a foiling jibe is that during the tack, I do some of the turn first before I change my feet. Whereas with the jibe, I change my feet first and then I do the entire turn.
For the 2024 Olympics, the contest is split into two segments, the qualifying opening series and the medal series. Scoring for the qualifiers is a low point system, with riders aiming to collect the lowest number of points.
During the qualification stage, you will have 20 participants that are going to be racing together. We hold 4 races in a day, which are scheduled, and they count all your finishing places and add them together. At the end of the day, whoever has the least points is leader of that day. We run it across multiple days, tallying up all the points that you've had across all the races. The bottom 10 are now no longer racing.
The top 2 races from the qualifying stage go straight into the medal series. The remaining 8 are placed in either semi-final A or semi-final B. To balance the contest, the 3rd and 4th place qualifying riders each get 2 match points. The 5th and 6th place riders each get 1 point. The rest get no points. To win an additional point, a rider has to finish in 1st place.
The final itself runs through the same way as in the semifinals. You're aiming for 3 match points, the leader has 2, the runner-up has 1, the people who qualified from the semifinals have none. You run races until someone has 3 match points. The athletes that I see, they think of the mental aspect as some side topic that is optional to work on, and the real important things are the strategy and the tactics. Whereas for me, at least, the mental aspect of the sport feeds into everything else, and that's why I spend a lot of time talking about it and thinking about it. In my opinion, that's all you have to do to improve it, is to treat it as something that you have to train and talk about it and think about it. It's funnily almost like a therapy session, right? You come after racing, you talk about how you feel, what you were thinking, and you speculate why you thought about things a certain way or why you felt a certain way, and whether it's beneficial to the racing or whether it was harming your performance while racing. All of this is just tying back on an emphasis of how do you improve your performance.